Hello everybody, Chuck Northside Guy back with a new video. With this video I'm going to start a series of about 9 or 10 videos featuring 1933 Hall of Famers, and I'm going to try to do it in groups of 3. In this video we're going to look at Jimmy Foxx, Earl Averill, and Gabby Hartnett. I'm going to share some stories and some statistics. When you look at this 1933 set, the players are just legends, and there's all sorts of interesting stories and nuance and peculiar things going on with this set, which just makes it endlessly interesting, in addition to the cards themselves being just stunning. Now, we've seen this. I featured the Jimmy Foxx card that I own. I have the number 154, still on the hunt for a good PSA 5 or 6 29. But let me tell you about Jimmy Foxx, known as Double X or the Beast. He is a Hall of Famer. Lifetime stats of 325, 2,600 hits, 534 home runs, 1,922 RBIs. That doesn't really give us a sense of who he is, though. In 1932 and 1933, he almost won the Triple Crown back-to-back in each of those years. Let's check out those stats. In 1932, he hit 364, 58 home runs, and 169 RBIs. Following year, 1933, the year featured here in this card, he did win the Triple Crown. He won the MVP, obviously, who was an All-Star in the first All-Star game. And in this year, his stats were not as strong as in 1932. He hit 356, 48 home runs, 163 RBIs. But he did win the Triple Crown and MVP. When he got to 500 home runs, he was 32 years old, almost 33. And so he was the youngest player ever to hit 500 home runs. And he held that record for 68 years until Alex Rodriguez beat him out in 2007. Just a ferocious hitter. Lefty Gomez once said of him he had muscles in his hair. In 1937, Jimmy Foxx hit a ball into the third deck of the left field stands at the old Yankee Stadium. And this was a very rare feat because of the distance and the angle of the stands. And Lefty Gomez was the pitcher who gave it up, and when asked how far it went, he said, "I don't know, but I do know it took somebody 45 minutes to go up there and get it back." So when you hear stories like that, and there are others, you recognize that Jimmy Foxx was just a real amazing hitter. After this 1933 series, in this set, he's featured as a Philadelphia A. Later, he was traded to the Boston Red Sox. And in 1938, he had another one of those great MVP seasons. He won his third MVP for hitting 349, hit 50 home runs, and 175 RBIs. He almost won the Triple Crown yet again. So Jimmy Foxx is one of just 9 players to have won the MVP 3 times. Only Barry Bonds with 7 has more. Sadly, after he left baseball and after he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, Jimmy Foxx had some setbacks. He had some bad investments and had to go back and work as a greeter at a steakhouse. And sadly, he died by choking on a piece of food. His second wife had also died choking on a piece of food. Bit of color. The character of Jimmy Dugan, played by Tom Hanks in the movie A League of Their Own, was based on Jimmy Foxx. And so that's kind of fun, too. All right, moving right on. So that's Jimmy Foxx. Next up, we have Earl Averill, famously of the Cleveland Indians, legend in those parts. Beautiful card. Featured here is a PSA 6. Sharp corners, pretty well centered. Nice stance, rich color. He remains the all-time Indians leader in total bases, RBIs, runs, and triples. Overlooked, not really heard much about, because during his time with Cleveland, the team never finished higher than third place. Clutch hitter, hit .318 lifetime, hit .378 in 1936. Sounds kind of like a tough character also. After his career, he was very outspoken, wanted to get elected into the Hall of Fame, and he didn't really overtly campaign for induction, but he did make a statement that had I been elected after my death, I had made arrangements that my name never be placed in the Hall of Fame. Well, he was inducted about 8 years before he died, so that didn't happen. Later in his life, he made news when boarding an airplane to fly to an old-timers game, and he insisted on bringing his own bat, and he brought it in a gun case. So, Earl Averill here. All right. Now I'm going to feature Gabby Hartnett. So obviously my handle here is Chuck Northside Guy. Northside being here in Chicago. I live a few blocks away from Wrigley Field. And Gabby Hartnett, known as Old Tomato Face, was a catcher for the Cubs, Chicago Cubs, between 1922 and 1940, ending his career a year later for the New York Giants. Gabby Hartnett was known for his strong and accurate throwing arm. He was routinely the leader in National League catchers and caught stealing percentage, and was the first Major League catcher to hit more than 20 home runs in a season. At the time of his retirement, Gabby's 236 home runs, 1,179 RBIs, 1,900 hits, 396 doubles were all records for catchers. Bill Dickey, also featured in this set, and I'll share in another video, surpassed his record for most RBIs and hits in 1943, and his career home run record for catchers was broken by Yogi Berra in 1956. He was a six-time All-Star, recipient of the MVP award, and won four pennant-winning teams, which is quite remarkable when you think about he played for the Cubs. His .370 career on-base percentage was higher than the .342 posted by Johnny Bench and .348 posted by Yogi Berra. His bat and catcher's mask were the first artifacts sent to the newly constructed Baseball Hall of Fame in 1938. When he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1955 alongside Joe DiMaggio, Ted Lyons, and Dazzy Vance, he joined quite an esteemed company of players, legends. He was included in Lawrence Ritter's book on the 100 greatest baseball players of all time. I'd like to tell you a story about a famous home run that happened in 1938 when Hartnett was a player manager. It was late afternoon. The Cubs were battling their way to the pennant in 1938. The scene is September 28. Two teams were meeting for the second game of a series that day, and Hartnett experienced the highlight of his career. With darkness descending on a lightless Wrigley Field and the score tied at 5 apiece, the umpires ruled that the ninth inning would be the last to be played. The entire game would have to be replayed the following day if the score remained tied. Hartnett came up to bat, and with 2 out in the bottom of the ninth inning, with a count of 0 balls, 2 strikes, Hartnett connected on a Mace Brown pitch, launching the ball into the darkness before it eventually landed in the left center field bleachers. The stadium went berserk, and players and fans stormed the field to escort Hartnett around the bases. His walk-off home run became immortalized as the homer in the gloaming. Gloaming means dusk. So quite an exciting story, quite an illustrious career. So gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed the first of what will be a series. I'm going to be posting them back-to-back over the past couple weeks. I've doubled my subscriber count from 16 to, I think, 32. So glad that we're a small but fierce tribe of people who love 1933 Goudeys. And I'm going to keep coming at you with them. Hope you enjoy. Take care.